Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tech for UGH Consulting. This is X 90 Days SL Skills Mastery Challenge. Congratulations for finishing day 21 to 24 for week 5. And we have been concentrating on how to deal with dates, calculations, and functions, as well as time, basic calculations and functions for the days in this week. And today is the last day for the week 5. And so we reserve it to look at some business scenarios for date and time calculation so that we look at how to treat it. So we're going to concentrate on how to deal with these business scenarios and how to practicalize what we have learned within the week to close it. So today is more of a repetition or revision of what we have done, but in a more practical approach so that you can understand how to apply the concept of time and date in Excel. So let's get into action as we get our practicals done. I want you to please practice it, take the sheet and then work with me as we go through this practical exercise to build it up. Okay, so let's go in quick. All right, so you are warmly welcome to the practical session of date and times, and we are going to look at some business scenarios here. So in business, we don't just calculate time, we calculate deadlines, penalties, and efficiencies. So if you say it's time that you are calculating, you may be wrong. So the scenario one could be loan repayment and penalty days. And the problem is that the microfinance company gives a loan for 30 days. If the customer is late, they pay a penalty for every extra days that they spend. So this is a basic logic that always happen there. So we are going to look at the extractions of the dates. If we are starting on the 2nd of April 2026, we issue the loan and it's supposed to last for 30 days. What is the expiry date for that loan? And that will let us know the penalties to award for the extra days that the customer keeps the money. So let's look at it first from the extraction. So then to determine the expiry date, we'll pick the dates the loan was issued and then we'll add the 30 days to it. Then quickly, we know that the expiry date for this date is 2nd May 2026. So if after 2nd May 2026, the customer is still keeping the money, then you can now subtract the 2nd May from the date the customer is keeping it to determine the number of days that the customer has kept the money. And then you multiply it by your penalty charges, and that is what will help you to do that. So that is the business scenario that we look. The second scenario could also be able to determine the expiry date for a perishable goods that you have. So a grocery store in Accra receives milk that expires in 14 days. We need to know the exact expiry date. So here, if the manufacturing date was 13th April 2026 and it takes 14 days to expire, what will be the expiry date? So quickly we know that we can add the 14 days to the date that it expired because they are serial numbers. Then we can now be able to determine the expiry date. So we are saying that this milk will be expired on the 27th of April 2026. So after that, the milk can never be put on the shelves for sales. So these are practical ways that we can use time calculations or date calculations in Excel. Now the scenario 3 is production efficiency time. So a factory worker starts a work at and finish it. So how many minutes it takes to produce one item? So here we will have to know is that within the period we are calculating, what is the total number of items that were produced? That means that you can be able to do some kind of divisions and others to get it. So what we are interested in is to calculate or determine the total minutes that was used for the production within the start time and the end time. So let's say the start time was 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., and then the end time is 11:45. What will be the total number of minutes that was used? So what we do is that we always know that we do subtraction. So this 11 minus the 8, and because it's a fraction of 24, as we know it, we always have to multiply the product of our subtraction by the 24 so that it gives us the total number of hours. So here, the customer actually used 3 hours, 25 minutes, or the worker or the staff actually used 3 hours, 25 minutes for the project. So the total numbers of hours that was used is going to be whatever you get here multiplied by 60 minutes, and we have 195 days that was minutes that was used. So if you have the total number of outputs, then you can divide by these hours, and then you can determine one. So let's say the output is 500. So what is the total number of in 1 hour, how many output was produced, or in 1 minute? So we take this particular one, then we divide by the total number of minutes used, and then we know that averagely the factory produces 2.5 or 2.6 output for within 1 minute. So within 1 minute is 2.6 output within 1 minute. That's the average for it. So that is how you do your calculations also. So let's look at another scenario that we have here. So Kofi Boateng took a loan on the 1st of March 2026, and the loan is due within the next 30 days. What will be the total? And then he paid the loan also at 5th April. Do we have overdue days? So let's say that we need to calculate the loan due dates, which is equal to our dates plus the 30 days that the person is supposed to pay the loan, and that is 31st March. So if indeed the person paid on the 1st April, just subtract the 31st March from the 5th April, and you will be able to determine the number of days passed. So here, the customer paid on the 5th. It means that the customer spent 5 days before paying. So if there's any penalty for it, you multiply the penalty rate by 5 to get the actual total rate the person has to pay. The second one from Amasewa is also the same thing. Amasewa took the loan on the 10th of March and is supposed to pay within 30 days. So you add back the 30 days, and then the loan was supposed to expire at 9th April 2026. But he paid on 10th April 2026. So what is the overdue days, which is going to be 10th, subtract 9 from it. So 10th minus the 9th April will give you 1 day. So it means that Amma had 1 day in paying the money. So these are real business cases where we use times and dates to do the calculation for it. So let's also look at the other one that we have here. So in the table below, create a formula for today and then calculate the number of days the invoice is late. So if you look at this, a person that has an invoice number with an amount that is owing, and then the due dates are given here. So the today date is that we know there's a function called today. So you type today, you select it, and then you hit enter. That is today. You can drag it down, and then you get today date for all of them. Now, what is the invoice overdue date? It's going to be equal to today minus the date the person supposed to have paid, or the invoice due date, which will give you 239 days. It means that this invoice has been in it for 239 days. You can click and copy it down, and then you get for all of them. So if you have plenty that you're calculating, it is easy to work it down. So the next one is that in the table below, create a formula to calculate the number of days in a project. So here we have the various project address or locations, and then we have the various project start date and then the various project end date. Our role is to determine the number of days that we're supposed to use or that was used to complete the project. So the first one is that it's also going to be subtraction. Pick the project end date, then subtract the project start date from it, and that will give you comfortably the total number of days used for the project. You can copy it down and then you get for all of them. So if you are calculating project dates from various sites, this is how you can do it to get it so simple. Just get the project start date, get the project end date, and subtract the start date from the end date. And that will give you the actual project in project date. Okay, so the next one is that we use one Excel date function. Calculate the due date if the invoice contract says that the amount is due on the same day 2 months ahead. So if it is due on the same day 2 months ahead, then we use a function called end date. So end date or e date, it will give us the function which will take the start date and then the number of months we are projecting. So here we are projecting 2 months ahead. So 2 months ahead, hit enter, and then it gives you, it's just a number formatting issue. Go to home page, go to number formatting, click and select short date. So you see that it is ending in 3rd January. That is the same date, 3rd January 2018. So with the 2 months, because this is November 3rd, 2017. When you add the 2 months to it, it moves it to January 3rd, 2018. That is the same day 2 months ahead. So now the next one too is that using one of the Excel date function, calculate the due date if the invoice contract says that the amount is due at the end of the month. At the end of the month. So you took a loan on the 3rd November 2017, and it's supposed to end supposed to be due at the end of the month. So how do we get it? It's equal to a function called end of month. So EOM month. Then you take the start date. But because it's the same month, here the month column, you put 0. So that you don't move from the month. If you put 1, it means you are moving to the next month. If you put 2, you are moving to the next 2 months. If you put -1, you are moving to the next, the previous month. If you put -2, you are moving to the previous 2 months. But when you put 0, it means you are staying in the same month. So take note of that. Then hit enter. Again, it's a normal formatting, so we change it to small, and then you see that it is 30th November 2017. It moves straight to the end of that month. So that we know that the end of that month is 30th November 2017. That is very beautiful for us. The last example we have here is that create the formulas for the following columns: hours worked, gross pay, deduction, and days pay. So we have the hours worked. How do we determine the hours worked? And then what is the gross pay for the person? And then what will be the deduction if we have a deduction of 10%, and what will be the days pay? So we are going to go through, then we leave it. So we have the wage here, we have the employee name, we have the wage here, and then we have the time in, and then we have the time out. So to be able to determine the time in and time out, we know that we subtract the time in from the time out. So you pick the time out minus time in. And I've told you it's a fraction of 24. So you always have to multiply it by 24 whenever you are doing subtraction, so that you get the true hours that was worked. Then we hit enter. And once again, don't be panicked. It is a number formatting. So go inside and choose number. And then we have 7.5 hours. That means the person worked 7 hours, 30 minutes. That's 7.5. So we can copy and send it down to replace all of them. So we have those who work 10 and all that. The second one, what is the gross pay? The gross pay is going to be the hourly worked multiplied by the hourly wage, which is here, and then we get the gross pay. Once again, you can copy it down to calculate for all of them. What will be the deduction? Here, The deduction is that we have a tax rate of 9% and 9%. So whatever you are getting as your gross pay, you are going to deduct 9% for your tax. So let's deduct 9%. It is just simple. Multiply the gross pay by the 9%. But because we are going to copy it down, we need to hold the 9% constant. So we hit the F4 key, F4 on our keyboard, and then we calculate it. And this person is earning $16.83. You can copy and send it down as the deduction. Now let's determine the actual day pay for the staff, which is equal to my gross pay. Then we'll subtract the deduction from inside. Then you hit enter, and then you copy it and send it down. So boom, we've been able to use the idea we have to compute salary for employees using the timesheet. This is how it is done everywhere in office. You can automate it, but this is the basic understanding of it, and then you can build it and put it down. So just go through all these examples that we are showing here, practice them, and then you can calculate time and date in any office that you are working. There's no stress. There's no difficulty. Once you have the understanding, Excel can help you to do it with ease and get it. Thank you very much for staying with us up to week, at the end of week 5. We have learned so many things. We have gone through a lot. We are going to reserve the last week in the basic functions to treat other interesting topics that are very, very essential for our success in any environment we find ourselves. I want you to try and go through all the examples that we shared with you. Keep the fire burning and make sure that you practice any video that you watch from us. And that is the only way you are guaranteed of the skills. Please don't stop. We are building our skills, and we are preparing ourselves for the opportunities ahead. And I can bet you that you will never regret going through this challenge. Thank you very much. If you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so and hit the bell so that when we post any other videos, you will get it. The announcement is that we will start the week 5 Monday as week 6 as we do, and at the end of week 6 we will have one open webinar where you can ask us questions on all the videos that you have watched, and I believe it will be very kind and good for you. Thank you very much for staying with us, and see you in the next video. Thank you.